So the Canadian dumps, these are the dumps that I have vetted. There are more, but I only do the ones I've vetted, and I have multiple sources of information, not just one. I do use earthquake information, which means that I've seen an earthquake in that area. I don't see P waves, I see S waves, meaning that it's only has the shallow waves, not the deep waves that initiate earthquakes, where you have an explosion like a tactical nuke. As well as you see troop movement at the same time. So if I see troop movement and I see earthquake and I see, or I have actual people that I do have insiders that are telling me they're in troop, there are mercenary groups or et cetera that are doing movements outside this dome, and I see an earthquake, that backs that information up for me. So then also do 411 data, missing people, missing children, cattle mutilations, strange craft, all of that I tie together to vet whether I believe this location. If I get just one hit, I'm not going to put it on here. So Alberta, there's a base called, and the double equal sign, or the equal sign, the double negative. I call that under deep state control or cabal control or black hats. And then a plus sign means, you know, the white hats have taken over and cleared it out. So Q552 is a base. It's called Q552. It's in Banff National Park. Where program IBIS, this is where program IBIS and the sub-program under IBIS called Project Mannequin in about 1980 was conducted. And you can look the programs up. This is about dumb, so I can't take off on every tangent, but there's a lot of them. So Calgary, it's under the entire city. This is a picture of Calgary. And they love to tie these dumps to hospitals where you have a captive population, prisons, where you have people that if they die or disappear, in a lot of cases, they have a cover story for it, very convenient. Hospital, if you say the person died and it was highly contagious, we had to incinerate the body. Quite often people aren't going to research into that. Prisons, again, there are a lot of those people, knowing their families don't keep track of them. Universities are really the population for the Mark Ultra, which is now called Project Monarch. Then under the one we're talking about, vetted that out, Cold Lake, that lies equally in Alberta and Saskatchewan, is discussed, as I mentioned above, in the Canadian officer story. In British Columbia, Vancouver Island, that dome was actually cleaned out during the show I did on this. I did this decode with Rick. There were earthquakes, and people were telling me in the chat, and I looked later that there were no S waves, and they were being knocked out of their chair, and they could hear explosions. I've been through a lot of earthquakes all over the world. I've never heard an explosion before, a boom when an earthquake. You hear a rumble or a low roll sound, and the earth will start to roll with big waves, the S waves. And the rumble is the P wave coming up deep underneath. You don't get knocked out of your chair by a boom sound. So that's obviously, again, earthquakes being caused by things like tactical nukes blowing into the dome. So under Vancouver Island, the entire island was a massive dump. This was primary Mark Ultra mill for child trafficking hub for Canada, and transfer of children through the U.S. from Washington State up into and down out of Canada. This is Vancouver Island. It's very convenient because you have a very short strait between that and Washington. It's very close to Vancouver, and it lies up against British Columbia. So it's very easy to put maglevs across this. And you have lots of interconnection areas that are very easy to create. I'm in Montreal under Lake Ontario. The dome runs out under the top half of the lake. I took this area here because I have many, many reports that from this area, there are domes coming from certain locations shown in this picture. This is a picture of the Great Lakes area, Ontario, and some of the location where this dome runs under. New Brunswick, during the decode I did on Hurricane Dorian, Point Lepreau was taken out, and this is the earthquake at that time, which tactical nukes were used to remove the military base, which that was a Delta and Theta type Monarch base or Mark Ultra base where they're creating super soldiers that they took out in that case. And this is the nuclear plant that they were planning to blow up, the deep state, to make a nuclear radiation holocaust across the U.S. along with besides Point LaPreux was also Port St. Lucie down in Florida and many others going all the way up the coastline was the plan, which is why they put in the news that Trump wanted to nuke the hurricane so that then they could say he nuked the hurricane. That's why there's nuclear radiation spreading across the country. But the White Hats learned about that and had SEAL teams go in and take all of these facilities and remove the tactical nukes and use them instead to take out the domes instead of the nuclear power stations. Newfoundland, it's still all of these are still in Black Hat control except the one under Vancouver, as I mentioned. Wabana, it's an iron ore mine in Newfoundland. This is an entrance, one of the old entrances that they now use surreptitiously. This is an old mining town, and they use a lot of, in Canada, they use a lot of the old tunnels, the old mines as entrances. They let them look deserted, and they can use them as for personnel traffic, and they have more larger ones if they need, where they're hologram, like going into the sides of mountains and things for big truckers to use. The mining town is located in the Newfoundland mine, and the mine is condemned and kept off limits, and police enforce this abandoned mine. In Goose Bay, at the airport, Labrador, Goose Bay Airport Labrador Military Museum, there's entrance, and it's going in from the Goose Bay Airport area. And there's maglev train that follows the coastal road up. They like to do that, put it under the road so the rumbling and the noise of the maglev being moving doesn't surprise anybody, because you would expect noise on a road because of traffic. But at the same time, you'll hear noise with no traffic. Another thing they like to do is use these abandoned quarries and sand, gravel places you can get sand and gravel from, and this is one they use like that. And they like to, if they can, make it something somewhat symbolic looking, like male phallic or something like that, if possible, because they love their symbols. This case, that symbolism will be their downfall. This is one on that coastal road going up on the Northwest River Road. This is an entrance for going in with big trucks and things like I was saying before, as well as they do Ninth Circle activities in this one. In Northwest Territories, there's Nahini Valley. This is located approximately 550 miles due west of Fort Simpson on the Mackenzie River and spans 250 miles under the southern portion of the Mackenzie Mountains. Both hot springs and sulfur geysers make this valley 30-degree warmer year-round than the surrounding area. Since this valley is above 6 degrees latitude, it's perpetually mist covered. So you can see the mists here over the valley due to the hot springs that run for 250 miles through this valley. And this is an excellent place for a dome because it's remote. The mist makes it, much easier to hide things, especially at night. And then we have Nova Scotia. This one's being fought over right now. They were taking out during Dorian, but there are still things that they're working on. That's in Halifax in Nova Scotia. In Ontario, we have a Canadian Forces base. That's North Bay. It's 200 feet below the surface. And then we have the massive dome, which is still being messed with. It's a massive thing, which is called the Great Lakes Triangle. This dome is one of the world's largest. It's under all of Lake Superior, much of Lake Michigan, part of Lake Huron. So to give you an idea of what that means, all of Lake Superior, part of Lake Huron, and much of Lake Michigan. So this is Michigan. And so that allows it to have maglevs where you can connect all of this. It also connects, this is Lake Ontario. We talked about the dome that was under majority of that as well. So you have this Great Lakes Triangle with maglev trains. It's a great place to abduct people and take people from the US into Canada, back and forth. You have a huge dome interlinking facility. They just keep increasing the size of these things. They grow and grow and grow. In Ottawa City, it's underneath the entire city. The primary entrance is from the Rideau, I'm not sure exactly, I'm not French, I don't speak French, sorry. Center. And they also go in from the Parliament building. Again, they love their symbols. So you have Joaquin and Boaz, the towers or the two pillars that you see in Freemasonry. And then you have the four pillars, the 4 points, the 4 covers. Then as we go in, we have a series of pillars and we have numbers and numerology, all based on, it's very Masonic, very satanic type of symbology. And then you have literally the Rune of Death here. And then you have the Centennial Flame. So it's a lot of symbology here. And you also have this other position here that's adding. So all of this is very, you've got pillars and towers and all kind. If you know your Masonic symbols, those that know this and study this, you'll find in this area it's strewn with it. They always sanctify these things satanically, so that the dumb entrances are sanctified satanically and make, in other words, high level Masonic 33rd degree and above. And under Toronto, there's an expansive underground city beneath the main entrance center between Gerrard and Church Street. It has Gerrard and Church Street, this area here. There's above this area has an inordinate amount of accidents. There's all kinds of electrical and high energy magnetic effects due to things that are going on underground. It's believed that underground equipment utilizing powerful magnetic fields are causing the equipment failures above ground. The Native Americans near Toronto have legends regarding the tunnels that were there before the city and before Europeans came over. They had legends of tunnels and ancient underground stuff in this area as well. In Quebec, there's Muscogee, which has been cleared out by the Alliance. This latitude, longitude seen here. You can see again the Masonic symbols, the Moravian line, the double-headed eagle of the east and the west, unification, the lion with the double cross, carrying the double cross, the spear with the double cross, the symbol of the Moravian line. Then showing again the Great Lakes area for another kind of, and where Muscogee is and related to that. So you're again really close to the Great Lakes. You can tie up to that really easy with Muscogee. And you can tie to domes coming up like I covered ones in New Hampshire previously. So all of this ties very conveniently to New York, New Hampshire, all of that. In Montreal City, under the Mount Royal, Mount Royal is essentially hollow, part of the dome also. Other interests are from Oratory and St. Joseph and from the underground city for shopping in that area. This is contributed and I vetted this out by a person in Canada. I wanted to tell that person thank you so much for your information, and the people that helped me vet this out. Thank you very much. And Renaud Lavasseur, of course I know I'm not doing well with my French, but that's as good as you're going to get with me, sorry.
René Lavasseur.
Oh, thank you, Marcin. Very nice. So that's really an interesting dome because you have this very odd circular island. I'm assuming that's natural. I don't know, but interesting enough makes it cute. So that's an interesting dome. Saskatchewan, it's under Saskatoon. The whole city of in that area is a massive dome under Saskatoon. And that's being messed with right now. The White Hats are dealing with Black Hat and demonics down there. It's an incredible mess. Terrible thing. Yukon Territory up in the Brooks Range in the Lake Schwatka area. They even installed the streets for neighboring housing. So this one looks like the Playboy Bunny to me. I just thought it was really interesting how word that I know is there's a dome. There happens to be streets that look like a rabbit. just coincidence, just sad. Just sad. That's interesting. Things that make you say, In the Haynes Junction, that one is cleaned out. That was cleared by the Alliance on the 28th of March. This is the latitude, longitude here. You can see where Mount Cairns is. It's in the Haynes Junction area near there. Richardson Mountains, here, this is near Mount Hare. It's the Mount Hare area, way up north, near getting close to the border of Alaska, where there's a huge dump up in here that is used part of the pipeline system. I think as they laid that, they dumped megaliths under it. Again, showing that a little more of the location of that. You have one Mount Hare, you have another one, Richard Mountains area up here.